Good evening and welcome to this very late edition of the Fantasy Football Show. It's a Monday night. I must say the form has not been at all up to the standard worthy of appearing in front of you this week. Bloody hellacious dose of the flu, but as I say, that's a win as far as I'm concerned. Pad is cleared now for Christmas, so I'll be fighting fit for the festivities to come. The man to my left this evening, as per usual, and further progress on the wonderful Tash, now turning into certainly a style that would be sort of carrying a name. Daniel, you're very welcome to the hot seat once again.
Thanks for having me once again. Yes, we're getting there. I'm ashamed to say it's taken me 30 days to get this far. Considering I normally have a full beard, to go from nothing took 30 days to get to this far.
So, Dan, it's the 1st of December. Have you been tempted to lift the razor and go back to default?
No. Basically, it's going to keep on growing now. I'll get the beard back, and then probably trim down the mustache so it all blends in. But
even it out all
exactly.
One stage.
Yeah,
right. Love it.
I do miss my male makeup. Put it that way.
Your defining male feature. Yeah. Proud wearer of facial hair.
Indeed.
No one else for it, Dan. It's the winner's circle today, and I would like to speak about you guys for a change. Because I want to just kind of keep things calm regarding Liverpool. Not getting excited on this end, for sure. So just Manchester United against Palace finishes 2-1, and I would say to you, definitely rid out the Palace wave a lot better than Liverpool did. How did you view it?
Yeah, look, fortunately I was working yesterday, so I didn't get to watch it live. So it was match of the day last night was pretty much my majority of my viewing of the game, and it very much was a game of two halves. I mean, Palace in the first half were very much the dominant team. Really could have had a lot more goals. The goal they actually did end up getting slightly harsh. I think on the olden days, if you had a double touch in the penalty, that was it, done. But now it's a retake. So anyway, look, they got their goal.
Well, if their bad luck arrives in that VAR is a very good scrutinising look at their penalty and deems there's a double touch in there. Yeah, it's the fashionable call at the minute where I just think the way they're taking the penalties now, it's this sort of stutter beforehand, and it's probably resulting in the standing leg getting closer to the striking leg more often than not. So look, if the bad luck arrives for Palace and that it's retaken, nobody capitalizes it other than Mateta as two successful penalties. And they were valid for the lead, Dan, you had to say.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I was like. They really should have had a lot more. But that was still the first half. There was quite a few chances they had where they were through on goal and just didn't take them. Mateta
misses one big one-on-one that 0-0.
I think he had a couple of them actually. There was a couple of chances where he had very, very good chances on goal. I'm trying to remember, did Nketiah come on before the end of the first half? And he had a chance as well. I'm pretty sure, that definitely must have been the first half.
So look, basically, United were definitely at fault for being their own worst enemy. Couple of unfortunate ricochets, of course, but certainly not Lenny Euro's best half of football. And
No, definitely not.
Fernandez causing all kinds of chaos for his fullbacks with his bad turns and then bumping over.
Did you get to
his
see
own
Match of the
player.
Day last night by any chance?
I did. I enjoyed Match of the Day last night.
The point that they showed very, very clearly was in the first half the amount of space that they were leaving open for the Palace players, not closing down, which then was the complete opposite in the second half, where they were running to everything, they were closing everything down, they were not giving the Palace players chance in the ball at all, and that was the big difference maker.
The big difference maker is that complete out of nothing equalizer by Xerxes. He's going 100%. Absolutely nowhere, and he just decides to swivel on it, and it's like it's real Firmino-esque finish.
The mental thing is as well. It didn't go goal side of Henderson. It went the far side of him, and still ended up in the far corner.
Yeah, so the absolute surprise nature of it, I think, is done in Henderson. So
you can't really fault it. And I remember because I seen the aftermath of the goal. I think like at work, obviously with the TV on, where obviously the commentators will just capitalize on it, saying, "Yeah, that's his first goal since December last year."
Yeah, look, in terms of a guy that needs it, Josh Xerxes certainly needed a big moment in the United, especially when the two main marksmen are, they're not available at the minute, Sesko and Cunha. So he's got to grab the shirt while he has it.
Of course he does, yeah.
So
because he's definitely a player that is probably wanting the play time because he knows there's a World Cup coming. He wants to be getting the matches. He's definitely one of those players where if he's not going to be playing much, he'll probably want out in January. I'd imagine he would, but he's probably not going to go anywhere because we don't have the backup. So, I mean, if he can get fired and be competition for Sesko, all good and well.
Yeah. So look, it's still the guy you say from Bologna. So still the guy who gets picked by Holland. He's got to find his legs just yet. But moving on, very, very smart set piece routine then for Mason Mount. Absolutely, we'd be totally expecting Bruno Fernandes to hit that one. But
100%, yeah.
Another man that sort of needs the spark of a moment in his United jersey and his United career is definitely Mason Mount.
100%. I mean,
and I have felt United starting to lean on him a bit more recently.
It's definitely been the case. I mean, before Sesko started getting his run of games, Mount was our centre forward. He was the guy that Amram was just putting all his trust into. And to be fair, he's had some very, very good games this season, and I think everything has been going well for him, where he's actually been keeping a good run of games where he's not been getting injured. And I think in interviews after the games yesterday, that was the key thing they were talking to him about. How is he feeling? Like, the fact that he's probably going on some of his longest runs without getting an injury so far, and still being a key player for us. I mean, he has popped up with a couple of goals this season that have been quite important. But again, it's coming back to that pressure. Like he's wearing that number 7 jersey. He's come into the club coming from Chelsea, and he's had a lot of pressure on him. And then the injuries on top of that have definitely not helped. I mean, it must be last year, maybe the season before that, where it really felt like he was going to go nowhere for United because his injuries was just going to keep him out of the team. He's going to be just another one of those players that comes and stays injured most of his career and then gets sold off again.
Absolutely. The important thing for United certainly was get rid of that Everton memory as quick as possible, because it'll be a dark stain on the recent form that they go down 1-0 to 10-man Everton at Old Trafford. So to get rid of that memory so quickly, huge one to go down to Palace and win, especially at 12 o'clock on a Sunday. That's a tricky one for. Well, let's be fair. The away section at Selhurst, they're probably traveling an hour to fill that away section, in fairness. But remarkable result all the same, not to be dismissed. Recent form, Everton aside, still to be stacked up and look, by points tally, you have put yourselves in a position where you are in contention for top European positions this season.
So where we want to be.
You're absolutely where you want to be, and it's absolutely where you should be. And let's be fair, there's improvement still to come with getting the best out of Sesko.
Yeah,
Cunha had only really started getting going
for
this recent injury, so more to come. And
there is positives to take, but then you have to think, like, the difference between our first half and our second half does cause some concern of where it took that halftime team talk to change the game.
So
I think.
So where I'm with you on that there. Yeah, Palace are certainly a first half team. So
no, Glasner's comments after the game, where he's finally speaking out about that the owners of the team not backing him in the summer, knowing that they were going to be getting European football, and the stats showing how poorly they have played in their game following a midweek European fixture. It's another, like, they've only won one of the games they've had following a European fixture this season. That they are a team where obviously, like, first half they were brilliant, but they didn't have the legs in the second half because they're just too tired from it playing midweek. Where obviously United haven't had that this season, probably have the bit more in the tank, and could come out in the second half.
You see, it's that exact scenario that I want United to be taking advantage of this season. Certainly if you're playing a team that's playing on Thursday, and you're fulfilling their fixture on Sunday, you've had the extra rest, and you have the advantage of. They will always throw out their best team on a Thursday night because it's a big deal that they're playing Conference League football anyway. Should be Europa League football, all things being fair, but they're playing Conference League football and they should do very well in that competition this year. So it's the handful of opportunities that'll come up for United with that. Obviously, Tottenham will be playing European games, and Aston Villa will be playing European games, and Forest will be playing European games, and obviously your Cities, your Liverpools, your Arsenals, and your Newcastles. So there's opportunities there where United will always be the fresher team. So I would say those 8, 9, 10 opportunities that you have still remaining in the season, you got to be absolutely pouncing upon and taking advantage of. So
that's a game where it comes back to the worry, because that was the thing. For us not having that midweek game, to come into that game and be outshone by a team that have, played more recently than we have. Like, we should have been shown the energy that we had in the second half from the get-go, and we didn't have that. And I think they're still trying to organise these midweek friendlies out in Saudi or wherever it is, just to kind of give them extra games, just to kind of keep them fresh, because it's definitely something they need. And it would definitely help if having those games just to be able to help rotation and that, because there's pros and cons with having the exact same 11 every single week. Obviously, the pros, the team is going to gel a lot better. There's going to be that fluidity between them all. But at the same time, if you do have a change where there is an injury like we're having now, and you're having to then shoehorn a player in that hasn't had the same game time, you're then lowering the quality of the team then for a couple of weeks. Whereas if you have been playing more games where there's been rotation, where there's been a mix of players, it can be a lot easier. So there's pros and cons with us having this break midweek. Ultimately, I would have liked to have had something, but all we've got left now is the league and the FA Cup. We're already at it. We've no European, we've no Carabao Cup, so very little options for rotation.
Yeah, well, look, we've been starting in that situation now from the get-go, so we know the crack anyway with United, what they have laid out in front of them. So, moving on, as we say, it's Liverpool. No big deal. Heading down to the Olympic Stadium there in Stratford in London. The need to turn things around ever more apparent, and the loud noises around the manager are certainly getting to unbearable levels. So the fact they come out with the nice, purely satisfactory feeling that they really didn't give up a big chance until the 86th minute, and they come away with a clean sheet, which is all important because it means you don't go behind first. You don't go behind in the first 5 minutes, ultimately setting yourself up for a hard day at the office. So they get going, and it takes till the 56th minute, but I had the happy notification that Isak is off the mark, and gosh, it's a relief for me as a fan personally. It's the British record transfer. It's an annoying chip on his shoulder to have to move, but I could see a player building in frustration in the game yesterday, and the way he takes that chance eventually is exactly the player that I thought we'd signed. Coolness in the position and the awareness to just stand still in that moment to find the space. And everybody needed the lift. Verts is pivotal in the lead up. Verts is just very good on the day. We get through the one only big chance that's offered up, and Gakpo makes it 2-0. And there's a lot of loud noises about Cody Gakpo, and there's a lot of unrest about what he provides for this Liverpool team. But in actual fact, he's the outright goal provider and assist provider currently this season. So when you talk about numbers stating the case for anybody, there's people really at their last thread of their patience with Cody Gakpo. But as I say, when it's not coming from anywhere else on the pitch, what is your actual argument that he shouldn't be in the team? Look, there is the high possibility that there's a wide attacker signed in January, and that puts competition in front of him. So he's got to be excellent from here on, and we can't carry any passengers from here on. It was going to take a massive effort to pull us out of the dreadful form we're in, historically bad form. 9 defeats in 12. It's just not good enough for any Liverpool team. It's just not good enough. And everyone will be aware of what their responsibilities are. But beginning to turn it around is modus operandi prime. It is get 3 points on the board. Arsenal drop 2. Nothing is finished yet. We've entered this phase of the league where there will be a vast swathe of games played in a very short period of time now. We have another game coming up during the week. And pictures will become clearer. Challengers will reveal themselves. And things will right themselves. Buoyancy will return to the league. The league's far too ultra competitive at the minute, and there has to be some sort of stasis, some sort of buoyancy to return to the league, to establish good teams from bad teams, who's masquerading at the top of the league and who is rolling juggernaut waiting to happen. Your thoughts, Daniel, on West Ham 0, Liverpool 2, please.
Yeah, 100%. It was a much needed win. There probably would have been slightly less pressure because, actually, probably maybe not. Like it's one of those games where the win isn't taking a huge amount of the pressure off. You're going to a game like that against a West Ham team that is struggling as is. You want to get in there and get out with the win. The fact that it took so long to get the first goal probably would have been a worry. Yes, West Ham didn't have any clear-cut chances, but they were having a lot of the ball. And the fact that you were getting further and further into the game without getting that first goal, there probably would have been a little bit of unease setting in with the team. Great for Isak to get the first goal, get his first goal for Liverpool. The slightly worrying thing, and that again pointed out very, very well in Match of the Day, the lack of service or the lack of intent to give him service during that game is actually rather disappointing. It's one of those things until you actually see it. The amount of times where it should have been a first-time pass or a first-time cross, but there was that extra touch that was taken where, the chance is gone. Like, Isak was in perfect positions if the ball had been given to him straight away. Easily he could have had 2-3 goals. No problem at all. So, definitely that player that was the fantastic player for Newcastle is there. He just needs to gel with his teammates. I mean, those passes come in a bit quicker. That's it. You're talking about Gakpo then as well. I mean, Gakpo definitely is one of your key players in terms of goal scoring. Again, he's another player that has come in to the team with a lot of pressure on him. I don't think he still has lived up to the player he should be, the player that has come from PSV. But there's still a player in there. What was your thoughts on who wasn't playing yesterday?
Oh, deserved. Absolutely deserved. There was glaring case to drop Mohamed Salah for weeks now, and I'm glad that we're finally at least having a look, because Egypt kicks off in the AFCON on the 22nd of December. We need to at least start having a look at a system without him. So it had to come sooner or later, Dan, and I think he doesn't play at West Ham away last year either.
Okay. So I know Slot after the game was, or I think even before the game, he was talking about how you're in the time of year where you're having this run of games and you need to have the rotation. Do you necessarily think that is the case? Or like is he saying that just to kind of, protect Mohamed Salah? Because the way he was talking, he's hinting that Salah will be back in the team midweek.
The way the manager's talking, I think he's definitely in protect ego territory. So when we've signed the player to a massive salary like we have to retain his services for another year, you do have to say a few things to at least massage the ego where you can, where ultimately for the good of the short term, you had to see the team without him. So nothing more to it, really. He could be back in the team for Sunderland. So lip service, you have to rotate when the games are going to come this thick and fast. The only break that I see coming, look, we have Sunderland in the week, and then we have just pulling up the weekend. We have Leeds United at Elland Road again. So in terms of a run of fixtures, and there's certainly a run that I'd highlighted, West Ham, Sunderland, Leeds. Couple of games where I thought we'll build ahead of steam, and then it hits its head right against the wall with a trip to the San Siro against Inter. So we'll know what's what with squad rotation and where we're at by the time we're kicking off against Inter Milan. Do we have 9 from 9 in the league and we're absolutely in our pump and Inter won't be able to live with us, and we're doing a beckoning call to Bastoni in this opportunity to go out and advertise ourselves to him? This is the ideal world stuff. So, as I say, it's got to be same vein again, because, as I say, there's no excitement at all from my end. I'm more satisfied this Monday about myself. A win is a very nice tonic, and certainly leads you on a more positive train of thought. So I have a more positive outlook, and obviously the squad as it is now, Joe Gomez, actually a functioning right back, playing in the team, thus playing Dominic Szoboszlai in his best position, seeing the best of him, seeing the best of Flo Wirtz, now seeing the best of Alexander Isak. There's a whole lot of things starting to coalesce at the one time.
You've just reminded me of something there, though.
Go ahead.
So, you've just reminded me of the news on Konate.
There's news on Konate?
Yes.
Go on.
That Real Madrid have cooled interest on him.
So, the idea that he was heading there again, it's another one of these. It's a minor annoyance that Real Madrid starts to interfere in another contractual negotiation regarding a Liverpool player. So
Yep.
if they have indeed distanced themselves from the individual, should make a more straightforward contract negotiation. So look, if Konate is willing to come back to the table and talk agreeable terms, then all the better.
The thing is, he's not really in the best position to make any kind of demands now.
So look, it is the old as the hills case that a player engaging in contract negotiations and really not getting anywhere in terms of his favourable terms, that the performance on pitch starts to drop a bit. So we're seeing that with Konate. Konate with where he finds himself in the partnership, he really should have been starting to see himself exceed Van Dijk's performance now, with Van Dijk slightly on the wane and himself hitting his physical and professional prime. You should have started to see that, but ultimately Van Dijk's holding his performance to an acceptable standard, where Van Dijk has clearly let contractual complications affect his. So, yeah, in fairness, I would be reluctant to hand those performances a brand new 300,000 a week deal.
Exactly.
I would have to invite the agent back to the table to really bring that number down based on performances. Look, hugely incentivize the deal going forward. If you can reproduce to make yourself the first centre half picked for France, well, then we have the exact player that we want to pay and lead the defence when Van Dijk's finished. So the news, that the annoying ones on the continent who like to muscle in quite often regarding English business recently. It's good news.
It's good news in a way, because you're hopefully not going to be losing another player on a free to Real Madrid. It basically now puts the player himself in a very, very awkward position where if he doesn't do much in the next while, will find himself with no club at all.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, we certainly won't be held over a barrel these days. We'll be prepared to let a player walk nowadays. I would say if it's just becoming laughable. Obviously, we'll try with all our might now to get Guéhi over the line. Hopefully, with a fee in January, if not as a free agent in the summer. And positive news regarding Leone. Leone recovering well from his ACL and is resuming light training in January, which is excellent news. Young legs recover well.
Mm-hmm.
Dan, I couldn't have the show pass without mentioning another gutless Arteta display in a big game. Chelsea down to 10 men. Moment is there for Arsenal.
For a lot of that game as well.
For a lot of that game, Moises Caicedo was absent. For an opportunity for Arsenal to go for it, reach out and grab this league again. They failed to grab the opportunity. And again, they've opened the door for everyone else. So, Dan, can you explain what is this gutless nature from Arteta that you see?
I mean, who was it that was given out about them there during the week?
Arden Keogh? No, I think he
No,
was. I actually think he was in support of them. Actually,
no, I'm just trying to think who they were playing. They were playing Bayern Munich midweek. There was somebody that they'd interviewed where they were not happy with it. Wouldn't even say not happy.
on
They're
Henri and CBS or
no, definitely wasn't one of those. I think it's a former. I'm thinking it's a former Bayern player when they were asking their thoughts about Arteta and Arsenal as a club, and like if they're a big threat or a big club in terms of Europe this season and all of that. And basically, when their thoughts were talking about Arteta's tactics and how they're a set piece team.
for sure.
Yeah, that's not a big team mentality, and Chelsea quite easily, closed up shop on those. I mean, the goal that Chelsea got is a prime Arsenal goal. Like that's Arsenal's go-to in terms of getting their goal this season. And at set pieces, Chelsea were absolutely dominant. So it's mad. Like, yes, they will say Arsenal were missing two key players. They're missing more than that. Gabriel and Saliba are out. Who else are they missing? Yeah, Gyökeres didn't start the game. He came on as a sub, didn't he?
They started Mikel Merino up top.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a big club mentality. Like you're a team at the top of the league, and that's the side you put out, and that's the performance you put out against a 10-man Chelsea. No, don't get me wrong. Chelsea were very, very good yesterday. For a team down to 10 men to play as well as they did for the guts of 70 minutes was very, very impressive. Like the highlights of James was very, very. I mean, there's not very many players that can move from right back into central midfield and play as well as he did. Like it says a lot about Arsenal's midfield as well when a right back is doing better than you are.
Says a lot that Enzo Maresca can change things around to an extent. He'll lose Esteval, and he'll obviously put Enzo back into midfield, and with a few tactical tweaks. Only two subs in the game anyway. Garnacho and Delap, that he put out a functioning team to stifle Arsenal. And sure, look, nothing else happens after the Mikel Merino equaliser. And yeah, as you said, Gyökeres is thrown at it. Madueke's thrown at it. Odegaard's thrown at it. It's a decent Arsenal squad. It's one thing I do appreciate about them. But there's nothing at the top of the pitch to scare me. And yeah, the set pieces are a nice little gimmick to have. It's a nice bonus to have for a team. It can't be the absolute pinpoint of your attack.
Yeah,
that's the worrying long-term thing over a 38-game season. Can't be heavily relying on your characteristics as a set piece team. You had to have something else take over as your prime goal getting, and obviously Victor Gyökeres isn't it yet, so there's huge case to say, look, Arsenal's dropping the ball per character and leaving the way wide open still for this chasing pack. And I'm looking at 9 points and I'm thinking I would still be looking over my shoulder if I had 9 points, a 9 point gap.
Like 9 points as a gap, even in January or February, isn't even much.
Not to be comfortable with. Absolutely.
No.
Absolutely. Not this side of Christmas, but still this much football to happen before Boxing Night, before the 27th. No, for the gap could still dwindle. Still, gap could be like 4 or 5 points come the turn of the year.
The major thing I would
for somebody.
Yeah. The major worry I would have for Arsenal is with how easily Chelsea stifled them.
Yeah.
At their own game.
Yeah, you see, I really worry about. I really worry about, again, it seemed to me Chelsea were absolutely flying during the week. You know, absolutely battered Barcelona off the pitch. Obviously, Arsenal have their own scalp during the week, beating Bayern Munich 3-1. They both have their extracurriculars during the week. So, yes, they'll have that in the legs, but also two fabulously well-furnished squads. Now, the two best furnished squads in the league, without a shadow of a doubt. And they have a stalemate. So I'm leaning only to one side there. Chelsea played with the 10 men for a long time. Arsenal should do more and need to do more. And it's where I remain hypercritical of the man, and where I'm sure Shane is rearing to get his teeth sunk into it, and I'm sure it'll still prove to be true. Character will revert to type before the season's out. Many, many more big games to come. Many, many more opportunities for Arsenal to come up with 1 or 0 points from it.
Mm-hmm. I would definitely be very, very confident that they will lose points a lot more this season. I mean, I still like the first game of the season, United against them. Arsenal were not amazing by any stretch of the imagination. Like, there's definitely games where they can be taken, and that's going to be the key thing between now and the end of the season. I don't think that Arsenal are capable of going on this unbeaten run that you would really need at the top end of the table. I really don't see it. Like, I know every year Gary Neville will say, like, look, this will be the year for them. This will be the year for them. They're going to learn from the previous year. I still don't think they have that final. There's still something missing in that Arsenal team to get them over the line. There's just something missing.
Final words from yourself, Dan, before we end the show.
On.
Please, anything top of your head? How did Black Friday go? How chuffed are you with the Bears? Jesus. Draw from inspiration.
Black Friday. It's to be fair, it's still going. It's been busy all month. Black Friday was mental. Saturday was mental. Sunday was mental. Today was less mental. It's unfortunate the time of year. I mean, like that's why we're having a podcast at 11 o'clock on a Monday night, because it's been mental.
Absolutely.
10 to 7 tomorrow.
10 till 7.
Yeah.
Nice on a Tuesday. We've had that festive period now, Dan. So.
Indeed. Staff party on Saturday.
Class. I have to wait another week of mine. But Yeah, the joys of retail at this time of the year. Anyway,
Indeed.
Daniel, hugely grateful for your company this evening. There will be another show before the week's out. So
100%.
keep yourself primed and ready.
Well, Friday I'm free, so if it suits you.
Excellent. All right, folks. It's been a late one, and I trust this will be enjoyed after the fact. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.